Hello, this is Lee Anthony Davis here with another announcement video here on my YouTube channel. Right, it's Saturday the 16th of September. We've reached the weekend stage. On this video, as you know, it's announcements for Group of the Day, Contributor of the Day, birthday announcements, Doctor Who news, updates, and of course the quiz question that I posed yesterday, and also my Doctor Who memorabilia collection, which is the magazine, Doctor Who magazines. I've emphasised that. Doctor Who magazine collection. Right, okay then, let's get on with it. Firstly, Group of the Day goes to probably one of my favourite cult science fiction series. I'm nominating the Infinite Blake 7 group on Facebook. So congratulations to them. That's for Friday the 15th of September. And also contributor of the day goes to Michael A. Grimm for Friday the 15th of September. Right, moving on, birthday announcements. We've got, let's see, John Lonely Angel Smith, Dawn Anglin, Carmen de Greet, Wayne Anthony Haynes, and Jonathan Ball are all celebrating their birthdays today. Well done to them all. Right, moving on, it's Doctor Who news. This is a headline that I found. RTD responds to concerns that he will be erasing the Jodie Whittaker era. Well, what I've gathered from that, and what the easy take to put on that is easy. When a showrunner takes over, he wants to put his stamp on it. So you can guarantee he's going to change something. He's going to make sure that, that the Chibnall era will not be forgot, but it won't be part of his integral period that he's going to be the producer in. He's going to make sure that he makes the changes. So wherever Chibnall left it, probably Jodie Whittaker won't be mentioned again in this series or the anniversaries or whatever. He might make references, but I can guarantee you there will be changes, and I think you could say goodbye to a lot of those plots and arcs that Mr. Chibnall came up with. So anyway, yes, I do believe he will be erasing not Jodie Whittaker as the actress who played the character, but the storylines will be erased, I reckon. Especially the Timeless Child that will be going. Probably he'll find a way to write around that. Probably turn it into a dream or something. It's to do with the. It was all set up and all that. I don't know. I mean, I don't write stories like that, but I'm sure he will find a way to sort of get round it. I mean, but put it this way: every writer does his take. I remember when JNT came in after Philip Fairburn left. And up until that point, the stories were good. And then we got Graham Williams, who wasn't so good. But thankfully, we had Douglas Adams, who became script writer or editor for one season before he went on to do The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, with The Pirate Planet being one of his, and of course, another classic, City of Death. Anyway, yeah, so at the end of the day, yes, I do believe he'll do it. Of course he will, because to be honest with you, I think Chibnall went a little bit too far on how he wanted to change the show, and I think he went too quick as well. I think he could have been a good showrunner, but I think he wanted to put his stamp on it. But in my opinion, any writer that comes in, like Russell T Davies, remember him? He changed like a whole course of the direction of the show. The way Barry Letts had it and Terence Dicks had it in the 70s, it was completely different, and I have a feeling that's why it failed. I really do. I think that's why in the 1980s, under Russell T Davies, it started to sink slowly. The ratings were losing. It was evident that the sets were so wobbly, you could blow on them and they'll fall over. Excuse me. And I think that could have been one of the reasons. Some people come in. To me, he wasn't a showrunner, Russell T Davies. He was more like a pantomime director, and it turned into a pantomime. The first signs were Colin Baker's new outfit and bringing in Bonnie Langford as an assistant. I mean, we've seen the assistants like Elizabeth Sladen, Katie Manning, Caroline John even, and Zoe, the character, and many others. They've all established themselves as assistants. but I'm afraid Mel didn't. She was more of a health freak. Apparently, Russell T Davies has brought her back, but she's not going to be doing carrot juice. I don't even know why it was in it in the first place. Maybe it's to try and get the Doctor fit. But it was a ludicrous plot and a ludicrous way of doing it. That's what I thought. I think RTD admittedly made mistakes, and he admitted that he did. But it doesn't matter. It's history now. So anyway, Bonnie Langford, as you know, is coming back. But the main news headline I'm giving you is that RTD has responded to concerns that he's going to be erasing the Jodie Whittaker era. Yes, he is. He will do. Don't worry, he will do, because he wants to put it back the way he had it before, when David Tennant left and he left, and obviously Moffat made a balls of it as well. So when he took it over, I mean, anyone that let's kill Hitler and kill the bloody moon, for God's sake, they shouldn't have seen the light of day, should they? They look like they were written by children. Love and Monsters was only RTD's flaw. I mean, that was made for children. The monster was designed by a child, so it was a sort of competition winner, really, wasn't it? But anyway, putting all that aside, yes, he will do. I know he will, because I know the writer. I know what he's going to do. He's going to put his stamp on it, as anyone would when they take over a show. So anyway, enough said of that. Let's move on to the updates. On my page on Facebook, the Lee Anthony Davis, the Doctor Who page, I've got one extra one now. I've got 44 followers. On my Doctor Who, Lee Anthony Davis, the Doctor Who group, has now moved up to 52 members. So thank you to one and all for following me and joining me on those pages and groups. Or page and group, keeping it in the singular. Right. My other one is Instagram. That has gone up as well. It's gone up to 1. It's now 78 followers on that. So thank you, every one of you, for following me or joining my group. I really appreciate. My group, by the way, is on Facebook right now. So if you want to join that, you're quite welcome, as long as you're a Doctor Who fan. I don't want any politics or religion shoved onto it. All right, then. Okay, we're going to move on now. Remember, I asked a Doctor Who quiz question yesterday, quite extensive in my complexity of the question. The question was, how many Dalek adventures were there? And you know, from the classic series, 1963, right and through to 2022. And the answer, I came up with 38 adventures. That's including those sort of cameos and stuff as well they played in it. You know, like the Pandorica Opens. There was I think it was only in it along with the Silurians and the Sontarans, when they're seeing the Doctor packed away into this cage or whatever, this casing to fire him into Beyonder, Wild Beyonder. Because they felt he was a threat to them, so they had to get rid of him. But you saw a couple of Daleks in it, multicoloured ones, by the way, so it was a Moffat production, obviously. But they didn't work, did they? We never saw them again. So anyway, that is the figure I came to, 38 episodes. It sounds crazy, but that's how many were. With the series being as long as it is, you would have thought there's more. But you could correct me in the comments if I'm wrong. I also got to make a guess on the names of those stories. So let's go for it, shall we? The first one was the Dalek story. The second one was the Daleks, sorry. The second one was Daleks' invasion of Earth. They made a film as that as well. And then we move on to that's right, the Mission to the Unknown, which was only about Daleks, not the Doctor and his companions never featured. The fourth one, and that was a prequel to the big finale at that season, the Dalek Master Plan, which was an epic, I think it was 14 episodes or something, I don't know. I never actually watched it. I've got 3 episodes, that's it. I haven't got any other episodes to go with that. Also, the last one was The Chase, which saw the departure of Ian and Barbara. And then we come back to Patrick Troughton, The Power of the Daleks, and then I think that's it until The Evil of the Daleks, and that was the last time they were shown for at least 5 years, until the collar era came into being. John Pertwee. They did a lackluster adventure called The Day of the Daleks, but then they improved on it with Planet of the Daleks. They're also in Frontier in Space as well, but at the end of it. Uh, and then we got Death to the Daleks. That was about Daleks. What would happen? This is a scenario. What would happen if Daleks couldn't fire their weapons? They have to find another ingenuity. They have to use ingenuity to get themselves out of this situation, and they did. They fired bullets instead. Just use their gun as a holster and shoot people. And then we moved on to probably the best ever Terry Nation Dalek story, which was Genesis of the Daleks. 4 years later, in 1979, we had a terrible one called it's like revisiting the Daleks. It's called Destiny of the Daleks. There was a lot of problems making that epic, but yeah, there was some good points and some bad points. It also introduced Romana, that's Lala Ward, into the show. Right, moving on, and then we had 5 years before we saw another Dalek adventure, which was featuring Peter Davison in Resurrection of the Daleks. That was not a bad story. And then we go to Colin Baker, which was a bit more darker, called Revelations of the Daleks. And then we had the Sylvester McCoy, Remembrance of the Daleks, that's it. And that was the final Dalek story of the classic period. And then we move on to probably one of the best ever Dalek stories in the new era, which was in the Eccleston era, called Dalek. Brilliant story. And then we had them at the end, which was okay because they were the sort of big shock to Doctor Who fans. It's them behind it. It was them all along, even behind the Jaggerfest and all that. Right, okay then. So that was parting Bad Wolf and Parting of the Waves. Then we got the David Tennant era, and then we had Daleks Take Manhattan or something. Daleks in Manhattan, and then I can't remember the other one. It was the second part when it was a two-parter. It'll come to me, but I'm not going to be bothered with that because I think you know what story I'm talking about. Moving on, and then we had the overplayed Daleks with Doomsday and I can't remember them. There's so many of them in there, but I'll go do my best. And then we move on to David Tennant's third. Sorry, I got it confused. I got myself confused. The Daleks in Manhattan didn't happen till series 3 of the third series of David Tennant. But that was all there was. And then we had another one called Journey's End with two sort of two-parters connecting together. This was with Davros coming back into it. And that was like, but I thought it was a bit cheesy when it had all the companions in the TARDIS. And then he says, not you, Jackie, you leave it alone, you know. I just thought it was just a bit of nostalgia for the fans, you know, to put them all in it at once. Elizabeth Sladen was in it. I was all right with Elizabeth. But anyway, and then we move on to the Matt Smith era. That way we had Victory of the Daleks, and then I think they get overused too many times by, that's when the multicoloured Daleks came into it. Then we had, let me see, I can't remember them all. Took me to let's see. Matt Smith. I can't. Oh yes, Asylum of the Daleks. That introduced Clara Oswald into the story. What else do we have? You'll probably correct me. I've missed one or two here, but it doesn't matter. I'm just going through as many as I can. Asylum of the Daleks was the next one. Then I think that was it for another episode because they have to bring a Dalek story out every season probably because the Terry Nation Foundation, who sort of own the rights to it, demanded that if they're going to use them in Doctor Who, they've got to have at least one adventure with a Dalek and story. So that's probably why they're so crap, because you know what's going to happen. Anyway, Peter Capaldi, The Magician's Apprentice, and something else I can't remember. They weren't very good. You always knew the Daleks were going to lose that one, and it's a little boy called Davros. I don't think Moffat really got the grips of that. We didn't really we didn't have any background or anything to it. It was just put there, you know. Well, I suppose he's trying to say that the audience can make their own mind up. You know, let the audience do the thinking. Really, very clever, very clever. But it wasn't very good, was it? And then it ended up with Capaldi, and oh, this is the one where Clarswood supposedly was killed, exterminated, and then she turns up on a tree upside down with the master or the mistress or whatever, played by Michelle Gomez. And then after that one, I think that's it. Oh no, Into the Dalek. We've got an Into the Dalek one. And then that's the one Peter Capaldi refers to, one of the Daleks who turns against the other Daleks called Rusty, and he used him once upon a time. I think it was twice upon a time or something. This is the Peter Capaldi's final adventure. Right, moving on. Jodie Whittaker comes into it, and we get a Dalek story at New Year's Day. And then we get another one called Evolution of the Daleks, Resolution of the Daleks, sorry, so those are two. And then we had a Dalek story thrown into the Flux. And then the last one was another New Year's Day special, I can't remember. And then we had, and then the Power of the Doctor. So I might have missed out one or two, but I've done well there. So I just wanted to go through it. And finally, we had the Power of the Doctor with the Dalek adventure with the Cybermen thrown in. Right, okay, that's it. Right, so I made it about 38 adventures with cameos and everything. But you could correct me on that, I'm sure you will. Right, okay then, moving on. I've got two questions for you. Out of all the Doctor Who actors that played the Time Lord, who played a vampire in a horror film? And what was the name of the film? That's it. Who was the actor out of all the Doctor Who actors to play a vampire in a horror film? I want to know the name of the actor and, of course, the name of the film. Right, okay. Now, before I move on to my final bit, the showing off of my Doctor Who memorabilia, coming up, I've got another Lost in Space to go up on my YouTube channel, so keep an eye out for that. Right, moving on, here we are, the Doctor Who magazine collection coming up. I showed you some yesterday. This is a cartoon version. As you can see, the price, or I like to, Vanity is my real name. There you go. There it is. That one I've shown you. I've got a SFX, that's sci-fi and Star Trek, but I'm not showing you that. Here's the one when Doctor Who was good. Christopher Eccleston in his leather black coat. Now, Colin Baker wanted to wear a leather black coat, but RTD wanted him to look... he wanted him to blend in with the 1980s. With that coat... we go, Last Doctor, Jodie Whittaker and Yasmin Mandik Gilp. There you go, on the front cover of that. We got a new Doctor. There we go. Oh, new. It's David Tennant again. This is for 2023. This is one of the latest magazines I got. And there's the new Doctor, Nishuti Gatwa. There you go. This one's a favourite of mine. I like the cover on that. It's Robot. Remember that from 1977? There you go. It's on the front cover, The Face of Evil. Right, moving on, moving the music ones out of the way. I've just got one more to show you before I call it a day, and it's this one. I haven't yet taken it out of its cover. It's still there. I got this one, let's see, I got this one, about 5 months ago, so it's still in its cover. I've not had time to look at it, but I'm sure it's going to be good. So anyway, that's my collection. That is it from me. Don't forget, I'll be bunging up Lost in Space on my YouTube channel later. Just want to thank all the subscribers that have joined my channel. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. So anyway, it's time for me to go. I'll see you tomorrow, a little bit earlier than 3 o'clock in the morning. As you can appreciate, behind me, I'm still doing some painting. I've also got me other things to do outside social media. I try and do my best to. Also, I've been on my group and page, the new one I've been telling you about. So anyway, that's enough of that. I'll see you tomorrow. Look after yourselves. Have a nice weekend, and bye for now.